Hello, hold on 1 second. I'm just going to get my tablet set up so I can see the chat. As you all know, my name is Nick. I'm a homeless type 1 diabetic. I live in my van in Sarasota, Florida. Went to the ER last night. That was no fun. My sugar was a little right around, well, it was a little over 500. And, I was completely dehydrated, and I was also not just dehydrated, but apparently all my electrolytes and my potassium was very low. You know, and my insulin spoiled. Right now, I do have somebody that's gonna help me out this weekend and have some. I'm on the other side of town right now, so I can't really drive anywhere till after work tomorrow. So I'm stuck with that insulin till tomorrow. I have the stuff that's spoiled, but it's just not working as well. So unfortunately, that's where I'm at right now. It's just my body feels very completed right now. It's very nerve-wracking. Not making enough to sustain my health, and not making enough to have a home or stay clean and do all these things is becoming very bad for my body. And you know, I can just do what I have to do. If you can see the gas prices right now, that's why I'm kind of zooming on this one for today's stream. It's killing me. You know, I can barely afford to eat, let alone medicine and fixing the van and saving up for the boat that I'm going to live on. It's hard to just, you know, make it through the day with these gas prices. And I've got to get longer term jobs. Like, I'm working, some jobs are only I go to work and it's only an hour or two, and that's like $20, $40. You know, it's just enough to eat for the day. It's not enough for a whole lot. When I worked at the farm, luckily there are more hours there, but it's just not, every day. So it's kind of a pain in the butt when I'm not working on the farm. I'm not able to, and then the days on the farm cover the days that I'm only working an hour or two, so I can actually eat more than one meal a day, and try to figure a way to pay for fuel in this van. I'm already running low on that, and I just haven't had the money to put it in the van right now, and I'm pretty low on fuel. But I do work tomorrow. I'll make $140 tomorrow, but that's gonna get me through the weekend and pay for fuel. It's like, I've got to find a way to start saving and getting out of this van, because this van is killing me slowly. I was so dehydrated yesterday, and like I said, my electrolytes were pretty much gone, and along with my potassium was really bad. It's making me very tired, very sick feeling, I guess. And it's been that way for a little while, so I've got to figure this out though, and I've got to get through and figure out how I'm going to maintain keeping fuel in the van, maintain the maintenance on the van. This thing has, like I said, it barely has brakes. It's got no turning signals besides one. I need an oil change, and I'm horribly bad, so I've got some work I've got to do this before I can even start saving. But I haven't even gotten saved for the before part yet, so it's like I'm just making that money just enough to somehow keep me eating once or twice a day and keeping a little bit of fuel I can in this van, because it's so godly expensive. This thing only gets 12 miles to the gallon, so it's not very pleasant on fuel at all. But it's a beautiful day. It's cooling down a little bit. It's been very hot lately during the days. This van is like a hot box when it's during the day when the sun's shining on it. If you're not in shade, you're out of luck, because and it depends where I can park, and I can't really drive this thing around a lot because the fuel is just killing me. Like I said, that's the main reason when I'm not saving right now. Is because of that. I'm spending double the price on fuel. Instead of $50 a week, I'm spending $120. So it's a little more than double. It's just been it's been crazy. But it is what it is. I mean, you can't change the fact that the fuel's high. You just gotta kind of deal with it. And most days I eat once a day, which is horribly unhealthy for me. A little squirrel, sorry. He's adorable. He's like doing this little handstand thing or whatever. But I think he wants food. Let's see if I have anything. Give him a little squirrel buddy for a second. Hold on, I gotta wait to make sure he sees. There you go, buddy. Go get your, thank you, my cheese ball. I love the squirrels. I want a pet squirrel. That would be awesome. I want a dog, really, but just to keep something to, you know, it's so lonely in here. That's one of the things that gets you the most in the depression is the loneliness, because you sit in, you know, I sit in this van all day unless I'm working. I don't know anybody. I don't have family. I don't have friends. I don't have anybody, you know. I have you guys, which I appreciate. But like out of life, real life world where I'm actually able to, you know, communicate face to face, I don't have those people. So it gets very depressing, you know, sitting here, especially when you're sick and, you know, it's like, you know this, you know, situation is killing you, but there's nothing you can do about it. But I still get up every day and I try to work every day I can. I don't call out, I don't do any of this stuff. I make sure I'm there where I'm supposed to be. And, hello, kitten. How are you doing? I'm glad you made it today. But, you know, I'm glad I went to the hospital. I'm glad I found out I was, you know, I didn't know I was that badly dehydrated and my electrolytes were all gone and my potassium was bad. I knew my sugar was high, but, you know, my sugar's been high. There's nothing I've been able to do about that. I'm not able to, you know, eat properly or maintain myself, so my body's, you know, constantly running high. I know I'm very high right now. I haven't checked my sugar recently. Somebody did write me on next door, and they're going to help me with insulin, but like I said, I just don't have funds for fuel to drive anywhere until I finish that, until I do this job tomorrow. And I did work today, but it was 2 hours, so I mean that was enough so I can eat today, and you know, I made enough. You know, it was actually like an hour and a half. I made $30. You know, it was enough to get dinner and you know, make sure I have coffee in the morning so I can go to work. But it is what it is. I'm grateful for it. I'm glad for it. I'm happy for it. You know, whatever. You know, it is. You know, it is what it is. Oh, it's okay. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I feel like they pushed me out of there pretty quickly, though. I was there till 5 o'clock this morning, and then I went, you know, then I had that little job. I just replaced some tiles, so it didn't take me very long at all. Some ceiling tiles, but they let me go. My sugar was still a 300, and they know I didn't have any good insulin. So I feel like once they figured out I didn't have insurance, they, you know, their thing was like, okay, let's give you some insulin, make sure you're hydrated, and then get you out the door, which is just putting myself right back in the same situation. Because, you know, yeah, that's a temporary fix. They gave me 1 shot of insulin, it was 5 units, which is what I take when I'm high anyways. But that only lasts 2 hours, you know, so once that, you know, those 2 hours is up for your fast acting, because I haven't had any long lasting in a little while. My body was, my sugar just started shooting right back up again. So, you know, I'm still in the same situation prior to. I think I'm a little more hydrated than I was, because it takes a little while for those, you know, those things to get. They didn't give me anything for the potassium or anything or whatever, so I'm not sure how those levels are doing. But I mean, it is what it is. They, you know, they're there to make money, and you know, I'm not somebody that's going to be able to pay them, so I feel that, you know, that's the reason why I got, you know, discharged a little earlier than I think I should have been. But I've just got to make it through more time, and eventually I can hopefully get out of this crappy situation that I have found myself in. But, you know, it is what it is. But tomorrow I'll be down at the horse farm, so at least, you know, it's a day's pay. They pay me $20 an hour, and usually they're 7 hours, so it's $140. I'll be able to put, you know, I'm debating whether I should put fuel in it in the van, which I have to kind of, but then I'm worried about, I don't have really much lined up next after that, so I'm not sure how long of food I'm going to have or anything. I'm definitely not going to be able to save anything yet. But, yeah, it is what it is, you know. But you just got to keep pushing along and trying to figure it all out, and making sure that, you know, life is what it is, you know. But I'm alive today, and that's what I'm thankful for. hopefully everybody's been having a good week and all that. There's not a whole lot really going on right now. It's just like I said, I'm just trying to, you know, make it through the day pretty much right now. And our followers have gone up quite a bit, so I appreciate everybody on YouTube that has recently liked, shared, and subscribed. I think we're up to 1,091 now, and just a couple days ago we went down to 1,076, so we've gained it, you know, about 15, you know, or however many that is. My math's probably wrong. Subscribers in the last couple days, so I appreciate all the new subscribers and all that. But, you know, I try to make these videos as long as I can. Just very sick lately, so it's hard to make longer ones than I have been. But hopefully, you know, I'll get insulin in this weekend and get my sugars down, and I'll start feeling a little better and all that. I just got to figure out more work, because I'm pretty much running low on that now. But it is what it is, you know. I'm grateful for the day, though. You know, I'm still alive. I'm still here. I made it through another day. It's starting to cool down today. It's been very hot today. It's very, very hot today. We're looking at, you know, record-breaking high temperatures coming up this week. So tomorrow's going to be miserable out there, but I know I'm going to make some money, and I know I'm not feeling good, but I'm going to push myself through it and make myself do it. I do have a little bit of water left, so I have, you know, I'll be able to stay hydrated while I'm out there working on the farm tomorrow. I mean, that's my real source to keep myself going through the week, is the farm. These other jobs are good, but they're just so short. I need full days, you know. And I know it's part of the process of getting your name out there, and I'm building a name, and you know, it's, you know, I'm definitely better off than I was, you know, a month ago. So, but it's just, you know, I can't make it out of this hole I'm in right now to where I'm just staying level. I can't be level. I need to make progress, and sometimes finding that progress is a little hard, because, you know, when you're just sitting still and you're not being able to do anything other than what you there's no hope yet, you know. There's more hope than there was, but, you know, it's just, I don't have those things to look forward to. Like, you know, I have a full check. I can go ahead and get the, you know, the van fixed, so I know I'm, you know, not going to get a ticket for my turning signals, or the van's not going to break down because it hasn't had an oil change since we left Maine. I mean, that's from Maine to New Mexico to here. That's a lot of miles without an oil change, plus everyday driving now for the last, you know, what, month now or whatever. And then I still got, you know, and I paid my insurance this month, but now I've got my phone coming up. Insurance is going to be due again in about a week, because I was pretty late on my insurance last time, which I can push it back and make it late again, but it's just, you know, I've got all these things that I've got to, you know, figure out before I can even get out of to where I can start, you know, saving. So I don't have to live in this van, and I can actually have a shower. You know, the last time I had a shower was probably 3 weeks ago. And that's horribly gross. And I don't even know when the last time I was able to do laundry. It was longer than that. And I feel disgusting. And when you're so gross and you feel disgusting, and it's hard to feel good about yourself. You know, it's hard to have that motivation. And, you know, like, I know I stink. I know I look gross. And I don't like that. I'm not a dirty person. I like to be clean. I know that me being dirty is easier for me to get an infection, especially when my sugar's so high. My immune system's shot right now. Plus, being type 1 diabetic is autoimmune disease anyway. So your immune system's already lowered. But adding all these extra things to it, it's like, come on, you know. I just want to be a normal person. I want to be able to go to bed at night and know I'm going to be fine and not going to get a knock on the window, or I want to be able to wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee at home, you know, like my boat's going to be my home, and that's my goal. Because once I do, you know, do that, the beach does have showers, but I don't live, I mean, it's close enough, but where I'm already struggling so hard on fuel, I can't really make it to the beach, unfortunately. But yes, they do have showers. It's just I've been doing so, you know, I'm barely making it through fuel right now, and I have to save every penny I can just to make sure I can get to the next job, so I can still struggle just to eat. It's like, it's a never-ending loop circle of, you know, how do I get out of this? How do I make it to where I'm not just doing, the minimal, you know. And I've got to keep whatever fuel I have right now, unfortunately, just to make sure I can, you know, like, plus also, you know, you've got to move, you know, I can't look like I'm homeless. I can't just park somewhere all day, every day and just sit there, because I park in, you know, business parking lots. So I've got to not let them, you know, notice me. So I've got to keep moving around. So that takes a lot of fuel. This thing, like I said, it gets 12 miles a gallon. When you start a vehicle, it takes more than idling it for a while too. So it's, unfortunately, fuel is such a consumption. As we see the fuel price, $4.13, and it's actually down. It was $4.29 just a couple days ago. I think like yesterday it was actually $4.29. I'm afraid it's going to go higher. You know, it's, you know, I'm not going to get political on any of that stuff or whatever. And, but it's just, you know, regardless of what you believe in politics or wars or anything, it makes it hard for low-income people who, especially people who are homeless, you know, living in their vehicles. I mean, that takes away, basically, the price of fuel right now is taking away a meal a day. So instead of eating 2 or 3 times a meal, I eat once, usually once, but sometimes twice a day, depending on how busy of a week it was. But if the fuel cost was back down, I'd be able to eat 3 times a day and, you know, have a little bit better meals than I'm having. And my sugar probably wouldn't be so high. So, you know, it's like fighting this price of fuel is literally killing me, because it's taking me away from the things. I mean, I could probably get food stamps. I'm not sure, but the biggest thing is Florida is very difficult. If you're, you know, Florida's a Republican state. Republican states believe in small government, therefore it's less benefits, less things like that. And I'm not exactly sure. One, I don't have I mean, I got them in New Mexico, but I know I tried before. This is a long time ago now, in Florida, way prior to my company and all that. And they told me I couldn't get them unless I had a child or I had a disability. You know, you have to, because I'm able-bodied. They don't consider being a type 1 diabetic a disability. Now, when you're not eating right and doing all these things, it makes you sick, so it makes you almost like a disability, but therefore I don't have a doctor to say that. Plus, I don't want a disability. I'm a worker. I just want to feel better. I want to be able to eat. I want to be able to do my things I have to do, you know, stay clean, do all that, and provide for myself and do these things. But it's just, Florida's a bit harder for it to get help with. Like even insulin or anything else like that, you know, it's not an easier state when it comes to resources. I love Florida. Florida's my hometown. My home state, sorry. And there's a lot of money to be made here. But the biggest thing is, one, I'm homeless. People look bad at that. 2, I don't smell good or look good right now because I can't keep clean clothes. And people will judge you for that, of course. So, no, it's perfectly fine to ask anything you want. I mean, that's why we're here. This isn't, you know, I make this channel not just for me, but to help others and let others know about things, or maybe even get advice from others. So please always ask what you want. That's definitely, you know, definitely why I do this. I think it's good for educational purposes for people and just for community purposes. We built a really good community here throughout the, you know, well, I think it's been about 6 months, I think, that we've been, you know, going live. We had a long break in between, but then I got the copyright strike, and we were covering protests at the beginning. It just got too much, and, you know, I want to, you know, share my journey and maybe help somebody else out and whatnot. But it helps also with my depression because, like I said, I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have a family that checks in. Yeah, they do, but the truck stops also charge for the showers, and when I'm barely eating now or being able to keep fuel, that makes it to where I can't really afford to pay for the showers either. I think it's like $10. That would take away a meal. So it's like, what do I do? You know, it's that situation. Like, do I spend, you know, $10 to go do laundry, or do I eat that day, or do I spend $10 to take a shower, or do I eat that day? And that's the situation I'm in. And hey, witness, how you doing, buddy? Glad you made it. But I've got to figure a way to get more work. And I've got to charge more. I don't make enough by any means. So like when I'm painting, like a normal painter charges. Now, granted, this painter's insured and has all his tools and all that, but I'm a very, very good painter. I'm very good at what I do. I can paint a house and make it look really nice and do it really fast. And I can have, a lot of work turned over. But they charge, $75 an hour. That's what you're paying, if you're a homeowner, that's what you're paying. I'm getting 20 to $25 an hour. So I'm not insured. I don't have all my own tools, which if I got one big job, if I could paint one person's house, I could even do it at a cheaper rate and still make, like I could charge, $1,500 for a 1,500 square foot exterior house just on labor. And, which would still be half the price of the labor and still make a decent amount, because I can do that in 2 or 3 days by myself. And it would look nice. That's what I need to start working towards. But then again, I'll have to buy my tools, and getting insurance is not really a difficult thing, but it's all about money. I can make a lot of money. I know how to. I ran a business for 8 years, and I can make a significant amount of money. It's just you need money to make money. It's horrible. If I can't invest in these tools and invest in the insurance, invest in being legal, then I have to work for a lower rate, which is just getting me by. And then, of course, I have to get those customers that are willing to give me a shot, which I have been. Now I have references here, so that helps. But once again, people still want to see a neat appearance. They want to see, somebody coming up looking, professional. And I don't look professional at all. I wouldn't. I mean, and it stinks because, I would wonder what's going on with me if I was a customer. So it's not like I blame anybody, but at the same time, people need that chance in life to make it, but to get that chance, you have to, I don't know, it's like a never-ending circle, it's just strange. It's all very, very, very understandable, but it just makes it hard, but I know I can. The horrible part is I know I can do it, because like I said, I ran my own company for 8 years. I did very well. We made $1,000 a day on average. Some days I did even better than that with my junk removal company, and I would love to be back there again. But then, of course, I need my trailer, and then this thing isn't it. This thing, I'm not sure if I should pull with this thing in the first place. It's got almost 300,000 miles on it, and I need to get a truck. I need to do all these things. So it's like you need all this money to make this good money when I know I can do it, and it's just. I think that's the most frustrating part, because I know my potential, and I want to get back to my potential, but I can't make enough money to get to my potential. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I can't go just get a regular job. One, nobody's going to hire me, because like I said, I don't have clean clothes. I can't go to, nobody's going to want some stinky guy and nasty guy going to work. And I also don't have my birth certificate, social security card, so that's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Plus, I don't know, I've always found pleasure in working for myself, and it's more rewarding, and especially once you've already done it. The opportunities that can come, with working for yourself. But I've just, like I said, I'm stuck in this hole right now to where I'm debating on, like I said, a shower or food or fuel or food or laundry or food, or I just can't get to that spot where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to be good for, I'm good on food for the next, month, and fuel. I can start saving this month. I need to get to that spot. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet, and I know it'll happen, but when you're sick every day, and like I said, I just got out of the ER, I'm literally going to end up back there shortly if, I don't figure this out. And it's killing me, and there's nothing I can do about it besides try. Well, I appreciate that comment, but we don't make much on here, and that's not what this is about completely. If anybody wants to, of course, that's completely up to them. But I just enjoy being able to talk to you guys. And figure out, it's kind of like it's like a little meeting. It kind of helps me, clear my mind, because when I'm sitting here by myself and I'm not having somebody to talk to, I see all these things and I feel all these things, and it's like, what do I do? You know, how do I get to that next point? And I'm just struggling. But when I can talk about it and let that, you know, it's almost like, you know, I might not be fixing my problem right now, but I'm able to relieve a little bit of pressure by talking about it. And also, like I said, it's so lonely in here when you're just sitting by yourself every day. You know, I wish I had a family to reach out to, or to, you know, to just have to check up on me. You know, that feeling when you know somebody's caring or thinking about, but I don't have that. I never had that, you know. So I'm used to that in a way, but it still doesn't make it any harder, or less harder, sorry. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm so glad that it's cooling down. I'll tell you that, though. That helps out a little bit in life when it's not so. Yeah, and like I said, that's, you know, that's. I never really. I don't go live and say, hey, how much money can I make today anyway? I mean, like I said, I think our last donation was like a month ago. And I still go live every day. I don't care. I appreciate this channel. I actually think, Witness, you were the last one that donated to me when you helped me out with the insurance a little while ago. But that's not why you know, you guys have been so amazing to me. Just by being here. You know, you guys take time out of your day when you could be doing anything in the world, and you're watching a homeless man on your phone, on your TV. You know, and it means a lot, you know, because it makes me, you know, we might only have 5 or 10 viewers here and there, but the more we share it out, the more we, you know, get more people to, you know, actually see it. So that's why it's really, really important to share these. Then we can get to where we can build this community and get more, you know, support that way. And eventually, one day I'll be monetized. That'll help, but that just moves slowly, because we're only getting 4 or 5, 6 hours a day. So, you know, you need 4,000 hours altogether to be fully monetized, to get ad money and all that. And that's where I'd really like to be at. I appreciate you sharing. And, you know, life is what you make it. And I might not have a lot. I might not know what I'm going to do every day, but I know that I can do this. And I know that I have done this before, and I can do very good things. And, you know, I know that I'm going to make it through all this crap one day, and I'm going to look down at this, and I'm going to be able to, you know, help somebody else out. And maybe somebody's going to watch this video and be like, hey, you know, this is how he did it. Maybe I should try this. Because, you know, there's so many people out there, and I'm not putting anybody down, but there's so many people out there that just beg for money or hold a sign and do all these things, and I can't find it myself to do that. I need to work. Now, do we, like I said, have we got donations from this channel? Absolutely. But that's not what this channel is necessarily about. I mean, I try my hardest every day, you know, and I don't drink. I can't even remember the last time I drank. I've never had a, you know, drinking problem. My dad was a very bad alcoholic. I always just never wanted to be a drinker. And I don't do any drugs at all. I you know, I drink coffee. I do smoke cigarettes. I'm not even going to say I don't do that. You know, I could be doing a whole lot worse things with the time and the money that I have. And, heck, I even smoke the cheap cigar cigarettes, which are only like $1.59 a pack anyway, so. And I don't even smoke a lot of those just because I haven't been able to lately. I smoke them and put them out. Yeah, I mean, and I've seen that. I did write back on your comment on that. I've moved around so much. I'm done moving around. I'm definitely staying in Florida. Also, and it's something personally against you. I've entrusted, you know, one person before, and that was very hard for me to do when they turned, you know, and I'm not saying you would do that, but I need to do it for myself to where I can sustain myself and not have to depend on anything else with somebody, like with the living situation. Because then if something were to go wrong, I would be in the same exact situation there. And plus, also, this van probably won't make it anywhere. I'm luckily it lasts, like I said, I mean, this thing barely has brakes. And it hasn't had an oil change in forever. And it's got almost 300,000 miles. So, you know, I really appreciate that, and it means a lot, but I'm definitely going to have to stay in Florida. And this is, you know, where I know I can do good, because I've done good in Florida. My company, like I said, you guys can look it all up. I owned Good Riddance Junk Removal in Cocoa, Florida. And I owned that for quite a long time. I have still got good reviews on not YouTube, on Google and all that. I was Google verified through the check mark, through their background checks, everything. Like I'm not a bad person. I have a great background. I was a business owner. I was doing very well for myself. I got sick, you know, and got really sick and couldn't get my, you know, my stuff under control, and it made me miss work, made me miss things, which made me miss payments on the truck, which got my truck repoed, which lost the company, which completely trickled down to losing everything, you know. And it is what it is. Now I've got to figure a way out of it, and it's been a long time. I've been homeless for 1.5 years now. It's not something that's, you know, and like I said, I went to for those who haven't watched from the beginning, after I got sick, I went to Maine, and I stayed in a warming center over there. I was doing good with work. Then it got really, really cold, and work dried up. So I was almost out of my situation. Then I got, like I said, you know, winter hit. Once winter's there, you know, it's -20 below zero. Nobody wants to do anything, and it's real hard. I was staying in my car, you know, for a little bit in the winter, and that was really bad. Then we did raise enough money to get this van, and I got the van. Thankfully, I can actually lay down and sleep, because I was in a small little car. And from there, I went down to, you know, I met a girl, went down to New Mexico, because she had a great job opportunity, and I trusted her. And as soon as she got her first paycheck, she was like, well, you know, it's over. And then I came here. You know, it's you know, it is what it is. And now I know that from here, you know, I had nothing. I came here, and we went to Cocoa. The crime was really bad there. Somebody tried breaking in the van while I was there, and we, you know, decided, you know, as a channel, let's come here. We talked about it, and at least, you know, like I said, I haven't picked up full-time work yet. I'm making, like right now, like I said, right now, just enough to figure things out, and to eat at least, and stay on that struggle line. But I'm able to do something for myself, which is great. So I'm proud of the process I've gone. I've just got to step that process up through more and make it so I'm doing more than just, you know, the bare minimals of survival. You know, that's where I'm trying to get myself to, and I know I will get myself there. It just takes a matter of time and effort, and, you know, not giving up. And even when it's, you know, I feel like giving up every day, I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's very hard. It's very hard not to it's very hard not to well, you know, see, that's the whole reason why I probably shouldn't move in, just because, you know, just because somebody doesn't agree, or I say the same stuff, or you don't like it, you automatically get mad. But first you ask me to, if I've ever considered leaving. And that's the reason why I wouldn't do it, because people like that are, you know, very judgmental if they don't, you know, or they're looking at your situation differently. So that makes a valid point to why I wouldn't do something like that. But anyways, yes, it definitely seems to be improving. The economy sucks. We all know that. Did I eat today? I had a snack today. I do have a can of raviolis for dinner. I'm gonna have that. But I had a snack earlier. I had some cheese. I had a little container of cheese bites, and to keep up on protein or whatnot. But anyways, like I was saying, you know, I might repeat, you know, I'm not even gonna get any more in that situation, actually. But it is what it is, you know. I just got to continue pushing forward and seeing what happens from there. And like I said, I'll be down at the farm tomorrow and all that. So that's a day's pay, you know, like I make 20 bucks an hour over there, but it's 20 bucks an hour I didn't have. So if I work 7 hours, which is what they usually have me work over there, that's 140 bucks, you know. That's going to get me, you know, I won't be able to fill up the tank because it's over $100 to fill this tank up. It's a 30-gallon tank. I know I'm very low, but I'll be able to at least have fuel and some food, so, you know, that's a plus. And I'm supposed to meet somebody for insulin. So that's all good. But I just got to figure out how to pick up some more work. Eventually, I'd like to get some business cards made because I think that'll help. And now that I have a local number, I can actually do that. You know, I can keep this number and just keep improving, you know, what I'm doing and sharing stuff out and the work that I have done. And eventually get it to, like I said, you know, eventually I would like to have my junk removal company back. That's what I had the most enjoyable job I've had. But anyways, that's about it for the night, guys. I just wanted to update everybody, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm feeling a little bit tired, so I'm not going to too long tonight, just because, like I said, I'm still feeling pretty sick. But I definitely want to make a live. We made it a lot longer than I did yesterday, so hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. I will go live again tomorrow, probably around the same time, and I will see you guys all then. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Anybody who wishes to support the channel, you can use the QRL code to the left or the donation links in the bottom or in the description. It's not expected, but it is appreciated. Anyways, everybody have a wonderful night. Liking, sharing, subscribing is always free. Well, thank you very much for that. I very, very much appreciate that. Like I said, any support's always very much appreciated, but it's not expected. But thank you and bless you for doing that. And you too, Kitten, have a good night. Witness, have a good night. And thank you once again, River. So I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And I'm going to get to bed early tonight because I've got a long day tomorrow. The farm work is no joke. I definitely earn my money there. So it's a little bit hard on the body, but I'm still going to get up and I'm going to do it because that's what I got to do. So anyways, I hope everybody has a beautiful night, and God bless you all, and see you tomorrow.